Okay, let's talk about a very important part of my fandom or what I like to follow or whatever. I'm going to talk about Star Wars or the whole universe behind it or whatever, or what it means to me. My introduction to Star Wars wasn't so much the movies, but one wintry day in 1980, I was going to school and walking into Troy Road Elementary, and I found a Luke Skywalker figure in one of the snow-covered pathways, and nobody seemed to claim it, so I claimed it for my own, and it was good to have at least one little memento from a movie I never saw, but everyone else knew about it. I didn't really have anything to do with it before. I was being more. I remember passing theaters with my father driving all those years ago when I was probably before five. When I was five, it was like, "Oh, Star Wars! I want to see that" or whatever. And my dad never took me, but it is what it is. Anyways, after that, you know, went to read. I didn't see the movie until 1983, so I had to basically read storybooks and whatnot in elementary school about the movie and some science books, or whatever. But my father was good enough to get like toys from it because every kid my age had the toys, so why wouldn't I? So the first ones I ever got were an X-wing fighter and one of those rebel transports. But yeah, those were pretty important to me because I used to play with those all the time. It, I was a very imaginative kid, so I would obviously the Star Wars universe was my oyster, and I would just play Star Wars all the time in my house and whatever around my house, etc. I didn't really know the storyline behind the movie, as I said, but it's like I knew the characters. Like I knew Darth Vader was a bad guy, Luke Skywalker was a good guy, Han Solo was also a good guy, and Chewbacca was a good guy. And you just know the rules. And basically, when you go out to play in the schoolyard, you basically pure. And Darth Vader's like, I got a lightsaber and whatever, and you know that Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader had lightsabers. So that's basically I played in the schoolyard, or you play at the adventures like you're flying in the spaceship or whatever. And then in 1983, I saw Star Wars. It was premiered on HBO for the first time. Truth be told, in 1982, my father one midnight. I guess CBS showed it, so he's like, "Hey, you guys want to watch Star Wars?" This was like midnight, so I was like, I'm not. I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm going back to sleep. So I went back to sleep, and I didn't watch Star Wars till 1983, and obviously it was amazing. It was up until that point, my favorite movie was probably Flash Gordon, and Flash Gordon Solo was a favorite movie of mine. But basically, it's just everything changed. I guess it was probably one of the more exciting nights of my life to watch a movie, because that was a movie I was really waiting for when they announced it on HBO that Star Wars was coming. Oh boy, I can't wait! And it was one of the rare nights my father would let me stay up past 8 o'clock, because was usually my bedtime. So it started at 7:30. So I watched that till like it ended around 9:30 or so and went to bed. What I like most about Star Wars, I guess I would say, is the mythology. Just the whole hero's tale set in a sci-fi realm. I mean, it's everything you could get from King Arthur or the Greek myths or whatever. Basically, the whole Joseph Campbell hero with 1,000 faces is very prevalent and obviously a giant influence. And it's just the whole how every choice you make reflects on your life and how you can move forward with it. Like even little things like Luke decides to go after the droids. Little does he know when he's looking for the R2D2 or whatever, that the stormtroopers are basically destroying his home on Tatooine, because they're looking for the droids too. So it's just twists of fate, and especially in Empire Strikes Back, more specifically, the more choices you make reflect on you and your friends or your fate, more or less. It's just some choices are darker than others. Obviously, if with Empire Strikes Back, you can either stick with the Jedi training and basically just leave everything that could happen to your friends, let them deal with it, or basically stop with the Jedi training and let their sacrifice go to waste or whatever. And but we'll talk about the characters. I used to be a Luke Skywalker fan when I was very young, but as I grew up, I more identified like everyone else with Han Solo, the smuggler who doesn't really know he doesn't really know his place. He just knows what he's used to. He's not really used to being a good guy. He doesn't see himself as a good guy, but eventually, it's like peeling an onion. The layers show more and more and more, and then at the end, he's say Return of the Jedi. He's fully accepted his role in the rebellion or whatever. But yeah, to a child with like hyperactivity and an increased amount of imagination that more than most people, just these stories just exploded in my brain, and I came up with multiple extensions and branches to stories or whatever. Like Luke Skywalker would go on this adventure, Han Solo would go on this adventure. And obviously, since I have some toys over here, it's still a big part of my life. I have a FX lifesaver from a Darth Vader that that's a pretty high end item. That's a great display place on top of my television, and I have the Empire Strikes Back poster because it's my favorite movie. And even now, right now, the one video game I play predominantly is Star Wars Battlefront, which has a lot of battles and whatnot from the movie on a multiplayer plane. So, yeah, I'm sorry, it may be more me rambling, but basically it's more me saying Star Wars has been a big part of my life, and I would probably be a whole different person if there was no Star Wars or anything like that. So, yeah, this is a know-nothing video, but I felt I should put it in an about me so you can understand that I'm a little weird and I like my sci-fi, specifically Star Wars, obviously, since I got a shirt on, obviously, and toys, and got a Han Solo figure up behind me, and yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next week for another About Me video. But hold on. I was asked to talk about Rogue One. I think it's pretty intriguing. Looks like it's going to be more of a war movie than the adventure, which I'm curious to see what a war movie looks like in the Star Wars universe. And it'll have none of the main characters, which is fine, because it's a different story that takes place in that universe. It's like when you read a Marvel comic book, a Spider-Man book versus a Captain America book, there's two different stories taking place in the same time period in the same universe, but that's okay. I'm really looking forward to seeing what a different take is on it in the universe. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, now we'll end the video, and I'll see you next time.